Hey, this is Notser, and this is a warning, a really important warning to anyone who wants to play, level up, unlock the German destroyers. Don't do it based on community contributor content released before this date. Why do I say that? Because Wargaming has introduced a major change to the German destroyer line that must be considered before you even decide to spend your money on free XPing or what have you. Now I'll describe it. In this video, this is me testing the Ernst Gaede on Neighbor before 0.5.16. That patch came out yesterday, as you're watching this video, for the North American realm, and I was playing it on stream, and I was having some success early on in my Germans, and then I didn't really have as much success at tiers 5 and 6. And I was going, what is going on? Well, the level of play is going up. That could be it. And what I never considered, what I absolutely never considered, is that they would change the very core identity of the German destroyers. Yes, they still do AP. Yes, they still do all that stuff. They still have hydroacoustic. But when you fire your gun, you have a massive penalty. In this replay, it's only 11.1. Just barely over my max gun range without advanced firing training. So 150mm guns and the 128mm guns are basically viable with this particular style of concealment and detectability on gun firing mechanics. 11.1 is not too bad when you have a range of 10.9, right? That's not too bad. Well, that's not what went live. Here is a live 0.5.16 game in the Ernst Gaede, and we're going to fire on that Arpeggio cruiser. And look at the bloom! 15.3 kilometer range when I fire my gun. Yes, I don't have concealment, but if I did, it would be 14.6. And that does not matter whether you use the 128 or the 150mm guns. They have the exact same weapon bloom. You can't play this ship like a US or Japanese. You have to be at near max range, and you have to play it like a Soviet destroyer. And that is not what we tested. We tested a ship that was basically a US destroyer with slightly larger body, worse maneuverability, had hydroacoustic, so you could be a bully against enemy destroyers at close proximity. You can't do that. You're gonna die. And you're gonna die a lot if you play it like that. So all my videos are completely irrelevant. Absolutely, completely irrelevant. To suggest that it is frustrating, I try and gather content for you, I try and inform you. There are people out there who decided, based on my videos, to spend real money. And I'm sorry. I can't take it back. I feel terrible. This is not the same ship that I tested. All I can do is apologize. There's nothing I can do to bring this back. Hopefully, Europeans, Southeast Asia, Russians, anyone who watches it, even North Americans who weren't on the server, please pay attention to this. This is the German destroyers with advanced firing training, so it's 128. It is not 150mm guns. And the bloom still beats it out by 2 kilometers, roughly. It's worse with 150. If you use 150, you've got 3 or 4 kilometers of range that you have to just accept that you're going to be under fire. That's pretty heavy, right? Yeah, it's just a huge change. An absolute bombshell of a change to the ship line. I can no longer play it like a US destroyer. This is actually a Soviet destroyer build. I have Demolition Expert and Advanced Firing Training. I am not using 150. I will never use 150 with this build. There is absolutely no way that I'm giving up 4 kilometers on my detectability against those crazy ships. They're just going to fire at you. They're going to do more damage to you on average because you are larger. Your maneuverability is subpar. So the only real option you have to be successful is to use your range to your advantage. You will be seen, just like Soviet destroyers. You will be in positions where it's very difficult to avoid the damage. Your smoke is the weakest among normal destroyer lines. It's not the Perth, thankfully. But you don't really have a lot of protection. You have maybe 30 or 40 seconds, if that. So you have to stay at max range, try and maneuver as best as you can. Use your torpedoes sparingly. We almost hit that guy with torpedoes. This is across the board. I've checked them all. All German destroyers received this nerf. From tier 2 all the way to tier 10. Their concealment while firing is in the realm of 14 to 16 kilometers. That is ridiculous. And it doesn't matter the gun caliber. So for you guys being excited, oh, it's only 150 that's really crappy. No. 128 has the exact same. I wish I was paying attention to this when I was playing. Tier 2 was so easy. Tier 3 was easy. Tier 4, and then brick wall. Well, guess why a brick wall? Because there are more ships that are more accurate at higher, mid to high tiers. They are more experienced, and they can hit a shot at 10, 11, 12 kilometers. You have to be actively maneuvering. You have to play it just like a Soviet destroyer, I've found. If you can do that. Hydroacoustic very rarely is ever used in this format. And it's just one of those things where I really wish they would have waited. I have a feeling that they wanted to get it out no matter what state it was in, and that's the worst commentary you can make on any product that is created, right? But it feels like they did this because they were afraid of its power, rightfully so. The ship that I tested was too strong. It was far too easy to dominate every single enemy destroyer. There was not really a clear weakness, in my opinion. HE felt good, or okay. AP felt fantastic. Hydroacoustic was the bomb. And my concealment while firing was satisfactory. So I could decide between 150 and 128. You can't do that anymore. You just can't. You need the range. 10.9 is not enough. You will die if you try the 150mm build. Now, sure, some of you might have a good game, but you're going to see the enemy can consistently hit their shots. You consistently take a lot of damage when hit. If I had it my way, I would have 3 level 4 skills. Demolition Expert, Advanced Firing Training, and Survivability Expert. Just to give you some protection. Because concealment is not going to protect you. Not at all with this kind of firing blow. Now, I want to sort of talk about what this means. I've also seen that they nerfed the Soviet destroyer line as well. The bloom is just as bad. But they have better velocity on their guns. They are designed to be seen. They don't care that the enemy can see them. It doesn't really change anything for my playstyle. It might push people who tried to pull the Soviet destroyer into a concealment playstyle away from it for good. And honestly, there's no reason to play the Soviets any other way. It's very fun to use their guns. It's very accurate. At high tier, you actually get torpedoes that you can use. The rudder's good. It's okay. The turn radius is okay. It's satisfactory. They're fun, engaging. The velocity on these guns, they're closer to American than they are to Soviet, in my opinion. It is very difficult to hit shots at range. It is nice when you hit your torpedoes, of course, but you basically can't do both. Either you're going to be gun focused, or you stay concealed, you get close to the enemy, and you send your torpedoes. Unless, of course, they're trying to cover a lot of distance very quickly. I don't care that stealth firing is going away. I just want them to consistently get rid of it. I don't want some lines to be better than others when it comes to stealth firing. It's just going to push people away from lines like this and the Soviet. They're going to go back to the Americans and extend the range with advanced firing training and sit behind an island. Yeah, sure, they're going to miss half their shots, or 3/4 because their velocity is crap. But it doesn't matter. Stealth firing is an inherent advantage. Until it's completely out of the game, there's no reason to ignore those ships. So I'm not satisfied with this implementation of the nerf to the German destroyers. Honestly, whenever they do nerf stealth firing, it's going to bring the German destroyers back up. The Soviet destroyers back up. Although, I would argue there's not going to be a single thing change about the Soviet destroyer playstyle. Maybe early tier, we don't know. Well, I don't know, I need to test it. But this is extreme. This is a huge nerf. This is probably the biggest nerf I've ever seen from when the ship was in testing phase to live. The vision game is the game. It's always been the game. How can you maximize your intel and use it against your opponent? There's a broadside cruiser, ignore everything else, fire at him. I don't care the range, I see him, right? Destroyers, of course, kings of concealment. All they want to do is try and manipulate the game by using their concealment to their advantage. Aircraft carriers, they deny that. They scout for people. They show targets that are easy pickings. It's just such a critical part of the game, and it's such a drastic change. It's not like 1 or 2 kilometers. They increase the bloom of the guns by 3 to 4 kilometers. They basically doubled the bloom for the guns. Double? Double. Really? You thought double was an appropriate nerf, huh? I like wargaming. I appreciate that they make games that I enjoy. I just wish they would spend more time making sure the product was as good as it possibly could be. I know developers have timetables, and I guarantee you this is not something that comes from the people balancing the game. This is someone who says to themselves, wouldn't it be nice if we had content to be released for the Christmas rush? People are home. They get to enjoy it. That's what I want this December. Okay, boss, we'll be on it. You understand this is required. We are not missing this. Okay, even if it's bad, we'll get it as close as we can. I don't really like that mentality. And I spent all time talking about the German destroyers. I didn't even discuss the European issues with the campaign. I really feel bad for you guys. So for anyone who doesn't know, there are 2 new campaigns that are coming out. One to earn the Graf Spee, and another one to earn camouflage for, I believe, the Tirpitz and the Graf Spee. I believe that's right. And I think it also rewards tier 6s, if I'm not mistaken. Just normal tier 6s. So you get it for free, or you get the credits if you already have the tier 6. You know, like the Cleveland. I would just get millions of credits. I don't know. That sounds pretty nice, right? Well, apparently it's not nice enough for European, because they don't get it. What's their reason? Oh, we're just going to offer it for them to spend their money on. By default. Do you know what you just said? You just suggested that it's okay that we're not giving you a chance to earn it in a fun campaign. We'll just make you buy it. Okay. That doesn't seem like a reward at all. Oh, but don't worry. We're not going to spoon feed you the content. We're just going to give it all to you up front. Okay, I guess there are positives from that. You don't get to make a mistake buying a bundle or anything like that. But it would be nice to have a campaign to earn some free tier 6s. It would probably be fun to do it in Warships if I earn that too. You know, campaigns are sort of fun. You know, fun for a person to participate. And there's a hell of a lot of free time for a lot of people about this time of year. No, that doesn't sound like something that someone would want to do. Oh, the other 3 regions are just weird. It's weird that they put in a campaign. Is that the reasoning? There's just no logic there. I could see, okay, we're gonna offer you the chance to buy the skin or the camo, or you can participate in the campaign, sort of like what the Graf Spee is doing. You can buy it or earn it in the campaign. It's your choice. Doesn't that sound like a great style to have content released at? You decide how you earn it. I think that sounds great. Time versus money. And some people have lots of time, some people have lots of money. Well, guess what EU said? We're just going to ask everyone with lots of money. Screw the people with lots of time. So I don't like that. Give them a choice. Good luck with those German destroyers. Be careful with the firing bloom. We, of course, will cover more. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.